I didn't put my foot down. I just allowed myself to be like talked into this idea.
And the whole time you had that feeling of this don't feel right.
It was heavy in there. It was piercing.
It's one of the toughest industries, the entertainment industry, like out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're gonna be a doctor, if you're gonna be an accountant, it's like pretty. What would that feel like? I have no idea. How the predictability of that, like, you know for a fact in 2 years you will be here, and there's, you know, outside of like some major life events, there's not really much that would not make that true.
I was coming back here, needed a job, needed some money. I didn't want to use my degree, didn't want to, you know, like I was like, did not want to get stuck in like, you know, a 9 to 5.
That take all the bandwidth, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I started doing Postmates and Instacart, and it was just like my prayer every time I got in my car, please do not let me see anybody I know, because I know everybody. Anybody who knows me knows I know everybody somehow. And so it's like, please, God.
Oh my God.
And then there was one particular day, I got a notification, Britain is ordering chicken from whatever cafe. And I'm like, God, no.
Okay, welcome everybody back to a very special episode of Connection is Magic. Today we have the lovely Indiashawn in the building.
Hello.
Hello, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad we finally
made it happen. Everything happens. See, I like where you're already going. You're making my job easier.
Yes.
So there's so many things I want to cover with you. You're a vet, which is amazing, right?
That's so
Can we call you that? Can we call you a vet?
Oh, go ahead.
You don't want to take it off.
It's so funny because I'm like, I've been in this industry for so long, but then like I'm still called a rising artist. You know what I mean? Like in certain publications and stuff. So it's funny, but yes, I'm a vet. I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So you got some maybe wisdom, things you've learned to pass along to the listeners.
Yeah.
And because I think that's the dopest thing about going through challenges and pain. To me, like, one of the greatest feelings is to be able to like take the wisdom from that and like pass it on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So we could just dive into the deep end. Before we go deeper, that's the name of our album, by the way. Now let's go deeper. What's something that you've struggled with in the past that you no longer struggle with today?
Caring what people think of me. This is a newfound thing too, actually. But I think most of us probably deal with that, you know, especially in the age of social media. But I feel like I'm just caring less and less by the days. And it could be an age thing, you know?
I feel like we had to have some confetti drop and some balloons pop out, because that's a big moment. You no longer caring like to that degree. Let's keep riffing on this, because this is so relatable.
It really like in the past informed like the way that I showed up, you know, like the way that I dressed, the way that I did my hair or not did my hair, or like, you know, just like taking on so many opinions. And I think as an artist, you have these teams and you have, you know, eras of teams, and it changes. And so you change with that. I had to just figure out how I wanted to show up and like what I was comfortable doing and how I wanted to do it, and just stick with that.
Without naming names, was there like a rock bottom moment, right? Where a manager at the time or something was like, you know, said this, or a lawyer at the time said something, and you're like, no, that's it. I'm drawing a line, you know?
Rock bottom. I mean, I had a lot of low moments. I think anytime that you are not in alignment with like who you are and what you like, it's a form of self-betrayal, right? So I feel like I've betrayed myself a number of times. One of the big ones I think was I had a music video in my last cycle of my last album where I was pretty much naked. And like
by somebody else's like vision or what? Okay,
exactly.
right, got it.
Yeah. And I didn't put my foot down. I just allowed myself to be like talked into this idea.
And the whole time you had that feeling of this don't feel right.
It was heavy in there. It was piercing. And even like down to like the edit of the video, I was just really uncomfortable. I was like, maybe we can do that, you know. And I compromised because I was like, okay, well, I'm competing with all these young girls, and I just, in my mind, I was creating a storyline to justify it.
Wait, I want to back you up a little bit on there. Like, if you go on social media, like the shit that has all the likes is like half naked girls.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
For sure.
You see it working.
Yeah.
Part of you sees it working.
Yeah.
But you also don't feel right about it.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? So both exist simultaneously. Maybe.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And even like power to them, but like I really feel like it's about being in alignment with who you are. That is the connection. That is the magic, It's funny. I get the most compliments when I wear things that I bought from like a consignment store. So, you know what I mean? Like at the Goodwill. And it's just like these $5 pants, but he's like, I love those. And it's just because I like them so much. And it was they're me, and I feel like that's the same.
They make your soul come alive.
Yes.
And then people respond to that.
Exactly.
The women that are doing that half naked thing, maybe that's really them. And therefore it's working. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, but you got to stay true to you.
Clearly it's working. It's working for somebody. It didn't work for me. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I feel like when I put it out, it didn't connect the way that I thought, like, okay, I'm taking this huge risk. What's going to pay off for me? It didn't.
This entrepreneur said, escape competition through authenticity.
Yeah. I love that.
That's good, right? Yeah. Naval Ravikant, go look him up. He's a G. This kind of internal war that we can have as creatives.
Yeah.
Say you're a new artist, you've been struggling forever, you get signed to a major, and the major label wants you to, work with such and such big producer and do such and such record, and that record's not you.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, like on the music end, that really hasn't been my journey. I've had a lot of freedom and creative control.
Yeah. You said too much creative control. Yeah. I'm going to be a psychologist. Let's go into that. What does that mean? You've had too much control.
No. It's funny. So I was signed to Epic. I am no longer signed. I'm actually, for the first time publicly saying this, I have not tweeted or posted anything. But I'm
shout out to your independence.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes. It's a celebration.
What do you think it feels like for the average artist to be signed to a major or versus doing it independently? Can you elaborate a little bit on the differences?
Oh yeah, I mean the difference is having money to do things. That's pretty much the only difference. And then having 20 people on an email, trying to figure out a day that we can all get on the Zoom.
Isn't there too many chefs in the kitchen though? I've seen that before. That could be one of the drawbacks, right? And that's gotta, as an artist, if you have a big team, what does it feel like to try and kind of get everybody on the same page?
Yeah, I don't think that was my responsibility to get people on the same page. I mean, people, are hired to do that exact thing. But yeah, it can feel like a lot. I mean, I remember for me, just initially in the first months of being signed, it was more so like a worthiness thing. I was like, all these people are here for me. This feels really weird. Am I good enough? Am I special enough to be why are all these people are having a conversation about me? So that was really crazy for me in the beginning. I had to wrap my head around the fact that I'm the artist and I have I am special, But also this is they're doing their jobs.
What got you into being an artist? When did you first know? We could just spend a minute on that. Were you singing in the shower when you were 12 years old? What was that moment?
I was, I grew up in church and my mom was the praise and worship leader of my church. So she's, she sang every Sunday. And so I was kind of I was in the choir and I sang on the praise and worship team. And so I had my little solo moments, I've had to lead songs and stuff. And those were really special, affirming moments where I would be so scared. I was so nervous. I still have a lot of nerves when I perform, but I was it killed me inside to go up there. But after every service, someone would come up to me with teary eyes, just you touched me.
That's beautiful.
And I was a kid. So I think those moments made me feel like I had something special.
Yeah, I mean, you do believe in a higher power. You believe in God, right?
Yes.
And so I'm a faith-driven person myself. And so how do we, as I don't know, man, I feel like it's taken me a long time. Again, we keep it 100 on this podcast to go when the road curves left and I didn't expect it to curve left. That shit was so hard earlier in my life. I used to throw me into a tailspin. I used to get so sad and depressed, and And now I've just seen, that's the beauty of age, right? Is like you've seen kind of enough of these roads turning to where, I mean, literally like not even 9 out of 10, like facts, like 10 out of 10 times, always there's something incredible to be gained, something that I grow into another version of myself that like I didn't even know was there.
Yeah.
Do you relate to that at all?
Oh yeah. Every single word of that. Like it's been a very what's the word? It's just roller coaster ride of a journey, you know, and the very low lows.
Hey guys, just want to take a minute and say thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you're appreciating the content and that you are being uplifted and inspired. Please hit the subscribe button if you've not done so already. We've got so many more cool guests, powerful interviews, just raw truth being shared to uplift and inspire humanity. If you have not done so already, please follow the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It means the world to us as we continue to grow this channel and this platform to continue to spread positivity in a world that really is hurting right now. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world. God bless. Very low lows. and surprisingly, people don't want to talk about that stuff, right? Like we talked about earlier in the talk about social media, definitely I think is tilted in the direction of the highlight reel. And I'm like, man, but this industry particularly, I mean the entertainment industry, and that's why I wanted to have this focus on arts and entertainment, because first of all, like I think art is oxygen for the soul, and then B is it's one of the toughest industries, the entertainment industry like out there. Like if you're be a doctor, if you're gonna be an accountant, it's like pretty. What would that feel like? I have no idea. How the predictability of that, like you know for a fact in 2 years you will be here, and there's, you know, outside of like some major life events, there's not really much that would not make that true. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Versus like if you're talking about our path in entertainment, is like you can't, I mean you can predict 2 years out, but you can't really predict 2 years out. Does that make sense? Because there's so many. Yeah,
especially with all like the changes and the way that we listen to music and create music and all, you know, everything. So yeah.
So what have you learned about being more graceful with that?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that like I have to do it because I love it, and I'm going to do it because I love it, you know? So as much as I say, I'm gonna quit, I hate this, I'm always gonna sing. You know, there was a moment where I was like, I stopped recording, and I was working as a preschool teacher at like a Jewish preschool in Atlanta. It was this random moment in my time, in my life, but I was singing even at the school. I was singing to the kids, and like the parents and the other teachers would acknowledge, oh, you have a beautiful voice. So I go to the grocery store and I'm singing, and people, oh my gosh, you have it, you know? So I'm always going to be singing, and it's always going to serve its purpose. I think that's the main thing. And then also connecting to that higher power and putting my faith in God to guide me and to direct my path and to take my hands off of the, you know, the will and just, I feel like I have become so much more calm and less depressed. I actually have not dealt with depression since I've just like surrendered and just, God, I have faith in your plan and your will. Direct me. Let me chill. Let me breathe. Let me take a nap. Let me go hike. You know?
It could be so hard, India.
Yeah.
Like what you're saying. Even like as you're sharing, I feel like, you know what I mean? It's like, no, like it's, you know, it's like.
But it can be so easy.
It can be.
It can be so easy.
Once we make the decision, right?
Yeah.
It's like.
To just chill.
Yeah, to just chill. Say like in dating, like it's like maybe the relationship wasn't a healthy relationship, but you fought so hard for it. Right? And then let's just say like, I don't know, 6 months out, 8 months out, you're like, why was I? Do you relate to that at all?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I feel like that could be the same idea of like us doing it our way versus trusting in a higher power.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a perfect way to say it.
There you go. So I think a good segue here is like balance, man.
Yes.
That's also something that like takes years of falling on your face, I think, to learn this idea of balance. Like, how many sacrifices have you made? Because I don't know about you, but I mean, my checklist of sacrifices, you know, from being in music to doing entertainment things and just, I mean, it was like 13 years nonstop of like I sacrificed so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just looking at my friends' lives and like, we're talking about that stability and then like, being able to like have these guarantees and count on things to work out a certain way. It's like, I haven't had that. And so I don't have a family. I don't have a husband. I don't have kids. I don't have a house. I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I sacrificed that life, but I'm on a European tour and I'm seeing the world and I'm performing for thousands of people and I'm meeting all these incredible artists and having these beautiful life experiences. So there are sacrifices, but I feel like it's all worth it.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we do the compare thing. It's like, yo, I'm this age and I don't have the. But then you like, bro, how many amazing, incredible experiences did you actually get for that time? So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes we gotta like fake it till we make it, as they say. And like when you were doing your thing, you said you had to Postmates in another interview for a little bit, and you were in your head about that, like, oh, what are people gonna think? Like, I'm gonna
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Okay, so I want to hear you share just a little bit about that, so listeners can hear you tell that story, and then I want to share something that connected for me off that.
Cool, yeah. So when I first moved back out here, mind you, at this point, I had a couple albums out already, released independently, but people knew me from that music. So I had music out, I had performed everywhere, I had done all this stuff, but I was coming back here, needed a job, needed some money. I didn't want to use my degree, didn't want to, did not want to get stuck in a 9 to 5.
That take all the bandwidth, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I started doing Postmates and Instacart, and it was just like my prayer every time I got in my car, please do not let me see anybody I know, because I know everybody. Anybody who knows me knows I know everybody somehow. And so it's like, please, God.
Oh my God.
And then there was one particular day, I got a notification, Britain is ordering chicken from whatever cafe. And I'm like, God, no, I know this name. I know the way it's spelled. Like, I was like, this is Britain. This is my friend. And I remember even getting into a little fender bender on my way to his place, because there was just, anxiety was at an all-time high. And so and I text him first. I'm like, hey, did you just order chicken? Like, I'm your driver. I'm your Postmate. And he's like, what? Okay, cool. So,
and he wasn't like, I thought you were a singer. What are you doing Postmate? That wasn't a response.
No, like that definitely, like, so he was like, come in, and I came in and we
shout out Britain, by the way.
It's really crazy how it all unfolds. Like, I'm going to come back to that. So we hung out for a bit, and he was like, what are you doing? Driving Postmates. And I was like, trying to make some money, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, look, come to the studio tomorrow. I have a session. Like, just come. Let's make a song. And literally I owe that whole moment and that whole thing to me being here with you, to everything that has unfolded in the past few years. So I go to the studio with him. His manager comes to the studio after I left, and he hears the song that I sang on. He's like, who is this voice? Who's this girl?
Wow.
Like, I need to meet her. I met with him the next day at Sony, and he became my manager. Months later, he was funding music videos and things like that early on, and he connected me with Epic to get my deal. So, none of that was in vain. None of that was in vain. It had to happen that way. And also going back to Britain ended up writing half my album with me. You know what I mean? So shout out to Postmates.
Shout out to Postmates and Britain. Shout out. so see, that's a God thing, right?
Yes,
oh my God.
And that's why we have to relinquish control. We have to just chill and let the unexpected things happen.
Britain was happy to like have a session with you, but like you didn't think to hit Britain for a session, right? Or sometimes like just reaching out and connecting could get us there. Is it a pride thing or like an ego thing? Do you know where I'm going with this question?
I do. And it's. I mean, I know immediately for me, like the answer that comes to my mind is it was a confidence thing. I remember like Britain and I had known each other since we were teens, and really came up in the music industry together. And he always wanted to write with me and for me. And I didn't have the confidence to write with him. I was really scared, you know? And this is somebody he saw so much in me from the beginning, you know? And I literally was just scared to write with him.
So, but scared, yeah. So scared is like, yeah.
I was just not being good enough.
So it's a confidence thing.
Yeah, it was a confidence thing.
So asking, like, again, reaching out for a session or maybe hitting a manager to say, hey, like, can we work? Like that a lot of that does stem from confidence then, right?
Yeah, probably.
It's interesting.
So I don't even know what grew my confidence in that moment to be like, okay.
Yeah, that's the next question.
Yeah.
What shifted? No.
Yeah, maybe desperation.
That's so funny. There's something powerful in like just finding like fulfillment from the craft.
Yeah.
It also would be nice to do this full time and pay bills with it.
Yes.
Let's be honest here.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, that's real. Like, it wasn't up until 2019 that I was like doing music full time. Like, and that was just, I started from me singing background for various artists and being on tour, and that was a consistent check.
Anderson Paak.
Anderson, yeah.
Okay.
Anderson, and that year I performed with Anderson, Willow Smith, Daniel Caesar, the internet.
How many years into the game did you have at that point? Like when 2019, because that sounds like that was like
gosh. A lot.
a lot. No, like a ton of years. Okay,
yeah,
okay. All right.
At least a decade, already.
Okay.
Working regular jobs, taking some time off, coming back to it.
But let's inspire the people,
Yeah,
I'm saying. Like, because that sounds like an amazing sort of breakthrough to have all that, like you said.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
and like at that time, I had just quit my job. I was like, I can't do this. Literally that week that I quit my job, March of 2019, I got a call to do the Kanye choir.
Oh, Sunday service.
Yes. Do you want to do Coachella with Kanye? Heck yeah. And then that literally also, hey, somebody found me on Instagram. They're like, can you do Coachella with Anderson? So I literally
this was random reach outs?
Yes.
Okay, but you said no to your job at that point.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I'm telling you. I'm saying, okay.
Got to take those leaps.
You got to take those leaps.
Yep.
Scary as they may be. Yeah.
I performed with both Anderson and Kanye.
And Kanye,
Coachella
wow.
that year. Yeah.
That's amazing. And you said you grew up in the church, so like kind of a full circle moment, right? A little bit? Yeah.
Most definitely.
You were in ATL. For how many years were you in ATL?
I finished high school and went to college in Atlanta, so like over 10 years.
Okay, wow. Okay. Yeah. So just being around, the game for a minute, like are there artists that you've seen like before they blew up that you're like, man, this artist here, I know they're gonna be huge. Like do you have that with some artists that you've seen?
Let me see. I feel like there's so many. I mean, huge is okay.
Breakthrough, whatever.
No, so this wasn't in Atlanta, but I mean, one of the biggest artists is Bruno Mars. I did a songwriting camp with him out here.
Before he was Bruno Mars?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's a great one. Could you tell? Like based on what you were seeing?
He definitely had star power, and that like he lit up the room. He was charismatic and obviously talented, and I didn't know he was going to be the biggest artist in the world at the time. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There was a community of rising artists.
In ATL, yeah. Black being one of those artists who you've collaborated with.
There you go.
Okay. Did you know him before the career did take off? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
So you've seen the struggle days. You've seen the struggle Black days. Yeah,
most definitely. Yeah. Black and Earth Gang, Jid, Mariba. So yeah. Wow. All of us kind of came up together.
It's interesting. It's interesting to like think about like successful people struggling. I don't know why. Like, when I hear Tyler Perry was homeless I think he slept in his car for a couple years and now he's got one of the biggest studios ever in Atlanta. And I don't know, sometimes our brains like can't like compute that sometimes. So
yeah, people have a perception of me even, go on my Instagram or they just think, oh, she's comfortable, like pretty girl. She's got everything. She's, and
awesome
it's like,
voice.
And I'm still trying to figure my stability out.
Yeah. Damn.
So.
Yeah. While we see our friends get houses and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, getting back to the God thing, the higher power thing, I think that we got to be developed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And sometimes when we think we're ready, we're not actually ready. Right? Do you connect with that?
Oh, yeah.
I've sat here with many guests, I'm telling you, who've done some really big things. And one of them in particular, I'm thinking of, who was like, I thought I was ready and I wasn't ready. It was so cool to hear that.
I can't even imagine being signed at 20 or so. That was my dream. Like, if I don't get signed, I'm gonna quit.
Barely out of high school. Yeah.
And you see what happens to kids who are successful early on. It never really plays in a positive
99
way.
out of 100. Yeah.
So I do, and that's one of the things. That's one of my recent realizations is that I think for my message and purpose, I had to be mature.
100%.
Because it's a mature message.
And it's that's very it goes with the art that you're making.
Yes.
And I also say it will likely be way more sustainable if you've been developed. Otherwise it's you could go back down just as quickly as you rose.
Yeah.
Some of these I'm thinking about the TikTok thing, which is still predominant within the music industry, I feel like, isn't it? People are getting signed off TikTok, but then they try and sell tickets for a show and nobody's coming out. You know what I'm saying? So slow, the slow build generally. Yeah, what do they say, man? I got these little quotes when you get to know me. Shortcuts to success will cut short your success.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. Okay, so one of your mentors is a legend, Stevie Wonder, right? Or he's been...
I wish he was a mentor, but yeah, he is definitely...
You've had conversations with him about music, and I'm sure...
Oh my gosh. I was blessed one night to just be called to do a session with him, but...
was that off Instagram as well? Shout out Instagram. I feel was that
Yeah. I posted that. Oh, no. My girl Erin Allen Kane, super talented artist. She was like, Stevie needs some background singers for a song, and are you available? Yes. It was midnight one night. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, he works really late, but yeah, I wish he was a mentor.
You've had some conversations about the business stuff. Was there a gem? Is there a secondhand gem from Stevie that you could pass along? But something that you picked up?
No.
Or were you were too busy being in awe of that's Stevie and I'm working
we were
Stevie,
talking about zodiac signs.
Okay. Okay. Shit. Okay. For all my zodiac listeners out there.
I know.
Are you into signs and shit?
Aries. No.
Are you into signs? Are they do you buy into that?
I do.
You do?
I'm in.
Okay. I'm in. I'm a Cancer.
Okay.
And it's emotional, wear my heart on my sleeve, so the sign's true for me.
Yeah.
Your sign's true for you?
My moon is in Cancer, actually.
Okay, so
I got a little bit of that.
We're zodiac cousins?
Yes. But I'm an Aries.
What's the main hallmarks for an Aries?
Well, we are the ram, so we're climbing up the mountain, super ambitious, like a challenge, pretty competitive, fiery, fun, bubbly, social.
Damn. Okay,
and we're the baby of the zodiac, so.
Okay. Yeah. So you strike me as a pretty loyal. You're loyal to the soil. You're pretty.
I think I'm pretty loyal.
Yeah. I could tell because you're a real one.
Yes.
I could tell. So what is it like? Have you gone through friendship situations where you don't feel like that was reciprocated, and what'd that feel like?
Yeah. Friendship breakups hurt. Probably more than romantic, but taught me that, life is...
Can I say something?
Everything's temporary.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I think with friendship breakups, because I just had a couple.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pretty heavy.
Yeah.
But I want to make room for new energy, like we talked about. But I feel like it's not so much we're breaking up with a friendship. I feel like we're breaking up with a part of ourselves that we've outgrown.
Wow.
That's what we do. Okay, that connected.
Beautiful.
That connected.
No,
Okay.
in a major way.
All right.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. In the music entertainment space, there are people who do move dirty, right? Again, we don't have to name names, but it's facts, right? And sometimes we see people that move dirty, like, get ahead. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I've had to process a lot of that. As somebody that I don't move dirty.
It's one of those things I feel like I won't understand it until it fully plays out. You know, because I'm still processing myself. You know what
Really?
I mean? Yeah. Like
I mean, especially as a female in the industry, am I right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell you I have a lot of female friends in the industry, and it'll be like, producer wants to work, but then they were really there just to try and get a date or something like that. Just being, just like people moving funny like that.
I think it does look from the outside as though people are getting ahead or happy or more successful, but I can sleep at night. So I
that's really like there's a price to be paid.
There is.
For moving that way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And whether that's seen or unseen,
Whether that's seen or unseen. And also the other thing that, like, I have to say too with this is, like, I think maybe you don't ascend as quick as somebody moving dirty, but you get to keep it. Maybe, because that shit does blow up eventually.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I had to say about that. All right. So what's on the horizon for you? Like, let's talk that, because now, you're a newly independent artist. We didn't really go there yet. So what are you envisioning for yourself now at this point?
I love that question. What am I envisioning? I've been in the studio all week making some really incredible music. I feel like the past year I've been working and just like trying to figure out what I want to say, how I want to say it, like the sonic palette. And I feel like this week I finally like struck gold.
Nice.
This is it. Yeah.
Nice. I could tell when you pulled up here, there was an energy to you, man.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. And so I'm business-wise trying to determine what it looks like. I have some things on the table.
Are you trying to actively put a team together right now?
I am. So I need some magic in my,
some
in my connections.
And some magic, right? Yeah.
Help a sister out. Because I am like team building right now. And also, trying to figure out if I'm going to do another deal. I'm not anti. I just think it has to be the right relationship. And everybody has to be on the same page. And obviously, like, I'm going into it feeling more worthy and confident and intentional about it all. So I think it could be a fresh start. I think it could be really positive too. So I'm like in between right now.
So this is really exciting.
Yeah.
You're birthing something new. This is good. Like, all change is scary, like even good change. You feel me on that? It's like, even good change. So, just lean in, absolutely.
I needed to hear that. I did.
We'll start bringing it home. The thoughts on blocking blessings. Do you feel like you've ever been guilty of blocking?
Oh, yeah.
You answered that way too quickly. Oh my God. All right. So this is wow. All right. This is good terrain here. Okay. So talk to us a little bit about, what you've learned in it, what made you do that, things like that,
Terrible decisions? No. You keep choosing that thing that's like, is not right. Like you said, like you could be making room for some new energy or for what's meant for you or whatever, but it's just like, you just keep, and that has definitely, I've chosen badly a lot, as I'm sure most of us have. I do think that's how you block your blessings. What are your thoughts on that?
All right, so like doing like an audit, if you will, on my past, there was like one deal in particular where I was managing an artist. Everything was like hunky dory. The team was all synergistic and flowing, and then I essentially brought somebody onto the team that literally, because like energy does that. Energy is real, right? So you bring one person in, it could like throw the whole thing on everything. I'm talking about like there was 6 or 7 people on this thing, and we were rolling. And I'm like, no, let me bring this guy into the mix. And like in hindsight, did I like royally screw myself over horribly? And then I went from my Beamer to my Honda. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Full circle. But no, what I was going to say is, in hindsight, why I did that, because I actually, as much as I wanted to ascend to the next level in my career at that point, I think I was more afraid of it than I was like ready to sort of like own it and take it on.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
So much sense. I'm seeing somebody right now, and I like him a lot. No, he's really amazing. But it's one of those things where it's like, this is all good. Like there's no red flags, and it's so scary. It's so scary to just like step into that goodness.
Yeah.
And it's a thing of like feeling deserving. You know, like you were saying.
Like we said, all change is scary. Like even good change.
Mm-hmm. No, that's why when you said that, I was like,
wow. Okay.
You know, yeah.
All right. Amazing. This has been awesome, man. I think we've covered a lot of good ground here.
You dropped all the gems and the quotes. Lots for me to take home.
What we got? Thank you for bringing your energy. Where can people find you, India?
I am all over the place. I'm in Los Angeles, California.
On the talk. I'm in LA.
But I'm indiashawn, all things, mostly on Instagram.
Any live performances coming up too that people maybe could be aware of, or like?
Stay
tuned
in. I have some stuff actually in Atlanta coming up. And I'm mostly just in the studio, you know, working on the new music to perform. So.
All right. Amazing. Okay. Well, we wish you the best in this new indie chapter.
Thank you.
And that you don't block your blessings seeing this new person. And thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next episode. Peace. That was fun.